party in here right now. So, love that energy. Celebration! So I get to introduce my beloved. Title, she is Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. To everyone else, she just says, call me Martha. Just call me Martha. So just call her Martha. She is ordained in religious science and divine science. She is a phenom. She is a phenom. She does board training both for Unity communities, CSL communities, other New Thought communities. She's done board training for the Unity Village Board of Directors as well. She figures out a way to cut through the minutiae to what is at the heart of the issue. And she does it in love, and she does it in humor, and she sees the divine in each of us, even when we can't see it in ourselves at times. She's got a huge amount of credentials. I invite you to go to marthacreek.com to see them, to read them, but I'm just inviting my beloved friend, Martha Creek. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. It is an absolute holy privilege for me. My calling to ministry came at an early age of 3. When I first declared, I'm a minister. And I got a lot of laughter. Because in that place, Bug Tussle, Kentucky, and in that family in Bug Tussle, Kentucky, they had never heard of a woman minister. So it was blasphemous, crazy, and downright can't be. And then when they saw that I wasn't kidding, it got very, very scary. It's like, she actually believes this. Now, what I actually believe is that you're a minister too. With the same clarity that I had at 3 of what we're here for, what we're incarnated for, what we took on a body for. Don't you wish you could have picked your body? You know, God's got some answering to do. You know, you couldn't have done this one. Guess who gets to? And guess who gets to do yours? These are the realities of life. And you know, if the sooner we come into the reality of life, the better off things are going to be. You think? To come out of this fantasy base of how things are, like people are going to be kind. Some of you are honest. They're going to be kind sometimes. So let the one that can be kind all the time raise their hand. Because you may have sinned before the gala. And we want to film it, of course. So to believe that we can be kind all the time says that we're not whole. That we're Alpha and Omega, the beginning and all that is, the beginning and the end of all that is, so that we're kind and we're unkind at times. And then the unkindness measures in us. Have you noticed? We get a certain feeling when we're out of integrity with ourselves, when we're out of integrity with our spirit or our soul. We get a feeling about that says, hey, wake up, honey. There's another way. There's another way. There's another option. So we call it spiritual practice. We call it evolution. We call it awakening. Like, yes, one way hurts. One way hurts less. What's it going to be? Now, if you're masochistic, stand up and run toward the door. We've got all we can deal with us here. And navigating our own awakenings and our own integration of our wholeness. So psychologists call this fixed-mindedness and growth-mindedness. Fixed. I know, because I'm your mother. The next Mother's Day talk. And I know because I'm your father. I know because I have a degree. I know because I have a license. Fixed-mindedness. So in New Thought, unity, religious science, and all the sages and seers of all faith traditions say so critically important to stay open at the top. Open at the top. Open-minded. Growth-minded. So we're all new today. You're new since you walked through the door. You're new today. If we decide this, if we say, okay, there's another way to be besides that fixed-mindedness, there's another way to be here. That's more growth-mindedness. So the growth mindset says all things are unfolding. All things can be developed. I can learn. I can get a piece of information that will change how I think, that will change how I am in the world. Can you get a sense of what the world would be like if we just moved our pointer 1 degree over? I could learn something. This means all people can develop, including your new Right Reverend Sheree Taylor Jones. You think she's shown up here walking on water? Now, she may have done that in the tryout, but with Jesus and other teachers, even though Jesus walked on water, he took a boat or kept his donkey handy, So she's here to learn too. So keep her on a pedestal. Bring her gifts every week. Every single week. Love her up, support her. It is your role. She'll do better and better and better, the better and better and better you do. You know how that goes? Like in your relationships, when 1 + 1 = 100, and 1 + 1 = 1,000. So like that. And it also then is like she's committed, as you'll hear in these commitments in a minute for this installation, she's committing to you to hold the certainty beyond appearance of your wholeness, of your divinity, of your divine perfection. And you're going to show up as knuckleheads here and there. And that's her commitment, her vow, that even in those wrinkly, boogery times. Can I say booger on the day of the gala? That there's going to be a need then to hang in there, hang in there. You're the South, right? You have some sayings hang in there like a hair in a biscuit. Hang in there during those times that say, there's going to be, we're all learning here, we're all developing here, we're all growing here, including the minister, including the board, the staff, these people that are in appointed roles, licensed unity teachers, chaplains. We're all still learning. Still learning. Decades later. So then we're all capable then of growth and change with a intention and a determination and with integrity in our actions to live this out. That this change then is going to require some grace and understanding and will and zeal and understanding and faith and letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go and renunciation and letting go and love and zeal and the innate powers that we are. And in the fixed mindset, in the old, archaic, dinosauric mindset, it demands perfection. It demands it be a certain way. Guess whose way it has to be? My way. Because my way is the right way. My way. So it demands perfection. It demands this perpetual compatibility, that we're just in one big love fest. It's like, well, we will be at times. And there'll be some gnashing of teeth at times. And it doesn't have to be minus love or minus respect. And as Reverend Sheree said when she introduced me, I've been at this for decades. And people call me mentor. They also call me tormentor. And it's the truth. Because, you know, to say like what has to be said at times with our human-heartedness and our tender human hearts, it's hard to hear certain things. And if we're really, though, going to be in this growth-mindedness and this expanding love and to live out even this vision and a greater vision than this, it's going to require us to grow ourselves up some. Emotionally, spiritually, and to lean into this, not just theoretically. So then one of the problems can be with this fixed mindset that we assume that everything we got to minister, check. Good luck. Like things are just going to unfold automatically. It's like, no, things don't unfold automatically. You know, this kind of production that you have here, this kind of gifts that comes from this musical talent and these voices, you think they just rolled over this morning and said, hey, let's go sing a song. So they work at it and work and work and work and work again. So it's not that we, the people, are not going to have some work to do to gain skill and to grow ourselves up and to be different in the world and to make this not just a theoretical new beginning for unity, but a actual new beginning for Unity Church of the Hills. And I meant to tell you coming here, because sometimes back in my early career, I was only called after it hit the fan. So people were like, what'd you hear about us? So I wanted to open this morning with, you know what I heard about you? Take a big, deep breath. I heard that Unity Church of the Hills in Austin, Texas, was the heart of Austin, Texas. So that's what I believe about you. That's what I'm going to believe about you, and that's what I'm going to be looking for in this ministry, that you're not just the heart of this ministry as a heart, but you're the heart of the city, the heart of the state, and the heart of what can be and is already a global understanding of these teachings. So just like there will be no great achievement without some setbacks and some, well, we ran that up the flagpole and nobody waved. No shame, no blame, no guilt. We're testing out what it's going to take for these new beginnings. and what the church of the next 100 years is going to be, for we know it's not the church of the last 100 years, which is obvious, right? Like with the decline that we're seeing here, that it's going to take some new idea about what ministry is going to be for the next 100 years. And then that requires us then, as we grow ourselves up, to absolutely stop blaming anything on anybody, and including ourselves. To get more graceful and merciful to ourselves, and to the degree that we can be quick to offer grace there, we're going to be quicker and quicker to offer grace there and somewhere else. So, as you embark on this new relationship, a new relationship with yourself, a new relationship with your spirit, that you're here divinely appointed in this place at this time on purpose. Nothing else could be. Then it's going to require us then to meet each other differently and to deal with differences. To not let our differences cause us to differ. And to accept this as new folks come and the doors are open, swing wide the doors open, then it's going to cause us some discomfort. And I've heard Reverend Sheree to me and on her recordings and her podcast to say it's primarily about accepting I'm going to be uncomfortable at times. So we will not have growth and expansion in a global ministry, and we will not be the heart of Texas or the heart of Austin, Texas, without having to do some growing, which will cause some of us some discomfort. And I know that you could not be here today, 25 years in ministry. Can you celebrate that? 25 years as a ministry here. That you absolutely, it would not have been possible if you didn't have an uncommon stamina for the heart of humanity. And for us, when we're knuckleheadish. And to say, we've got some stamina. So knuckleheads are welcome. Knucklehead behavior isn't. There's a difference. So come how you are. Come regardless of what path you came from. Come with your tattoos. Come with your flip-flops. Come with whatever you are, whoever you are. All are welcome here. None are excluded here. That's what your billboard says. And then come here intentional in what you are creating every time your foot crosses the threshold of this sanctuary. And then as it crosses the threshold going out, how are we going to live this out in the world? It's pretty easy to do it here. And how are we going to do it out there? So this is your little pop quiz now. Remember, I'm a tormentor. So whoever wins gets this beautiful arrangement. Fixed-minded or growth-minded? Gives up and sees no options. You're quick. Magnifies how difficult things are. Closed to new ideas. We've already tried that. That won't work. I know. Listen to me. You know what doesn't work? You want the proof? Okay, big deep breath. So imagine crawling out of that skin. Imagine crawling out of that skin. Unzip it if you need to. Step out of it. Like today's a new day. It's a new beginning. And as old and archaic as that is, it's kind of got some barnacles on me. That I'm going to consciously say, okay, growth-minded it is for me. open-minded, responsive to challenges. Get a sense of it in your body, of what it would be like to be responsive to challenges. Not so shook down by them, not so the rug's been pulled out from under us. It's like, this goes with the territory. How are we going to respond to this? Regulates your own pulse. Let me get calm before I try to calm anybody else down. You know, in emergency rooms, it says, regulate your own pulse before checking anybody else's. Put the oxygen mask on me first. Allow for challenges. Anticipates there'll be some challenges. It's like, oh no, I want to go to Dallas, but I'm not going to go till every traffic light is green between here and there. Well, here you are. Let's get a shovel and pray that God will make a hole for us. I've got a splinter, but I'm not going to pull it out. I'm just going to pray it out. I mean, we're just a thought away from that, folks. And empower and enable others to look at what is, to analyze what is, factually, actually, to discern what is, and then to take action based on what would be sensible. Sensible action. Is it doable? Doable for you? Now see, if you go home and try this, they'll think you're on a new medication. They'll be right. You can tell them, hey, I had an awakening, and where I had the awakening, and then bring them next Sunday. And, you know, blindfold them and just drive them over here if they won't come. You know, you get innovative. All right. As we pause, think about what it would mean for you personally, a new beginning. So Reverend Sheree will be thinking and reflecting today on her new beginning. So she'll do that work. And then guess who has to do yours? And get a sense of what it would be to be born again today, to be newer. You know, some of us have white hair. You know, it's kind of shocking to see a Unity congregation that's not all white hair. It's bravo. And you know, instead of this notion of we're getting older and older and older, it's like, and one of my mentors, Dr. Barbara Marks Hubbard, did y'all study with her in the conscious evolution field? People say, oh, Barbara, you're 80, you're 83 now. She'd say, I know, I'm getting newer and newer. So what if we are getting newer and newer? And what if our teaching is true? And the power for that is within you. What if it's true? Then how are you going to be in that power? How are you going to be in that new beginning? How are you going to be as this new person? How are you going to be different in conversations? Different when here comes the gossip. And have you heard? And Reverend Sheree didn't remember my name. That does it for me. I'm out of here. Like, well, don't go, grow up. You know, we're a grown-up bunch around here. She don't know her own name most of the time. Like, so don't hold it up that she's got to know yours. You know, she's been here 30 and a half days. And you're already cooking on all 6 burners. And for those of you that were keeping those burners going before she arrived, thank you. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you for that. And only you know what it took for you to do that. and the calling that you had. So let's pretend to get reverent, shall we? So as we gather here today, it is for a celebration. It is also for a ceremony, an installation of this professional minister, not only having a call to ministry, but equipped and trained for ministry, and then called and appointed specifically to this one. So as we open then the ceremony, I invite you to open your mind and open your heart to just what this means for you, for the congregation here, for this leader, this ministry, this minister, and the potential. So we open now again with a new prayer. As we open our mind refreshed, renewed, realigned to the truth of the teaching and to what we know for certain, we open our minds and hearts to the holy presence of Spirit that is with us, that is upon us now and in this moment. And on this very special occasion, we're gathered here consciously to celebrate the installation of a beloved, called spiritual leader, Reverend Sheree Taylor-Jones. And just as Reverend Sheree has committed herself to the calling of Spirit, so each of us, in witness of this, opens our own hearts to our call of Spirit. And to that we say today again, yes. Yes. If it's true for you and can speak the word, yes, please. Yes, we say yes again. Yes. And just like in weddings, there's a place that says, and if you don't want her, now's the time for you to say it. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Anybody? All right. We're good to go, girl.
All right.
So let's have the board, the representatives of the staff, the prayer chaplains, licensed Unity teachers, the appointed ones, those that were invited, please join us up here for the ceremony. And whether you're a long-term Unity Church of the Hills congregant or exploring a spiritual community, those of you that are new here today, you're all pivotal in the history of this ministry. After more than 25 years as a vital New Thought community, we are literally at a new beginning. You're also welcome to join this exciting journey that starts today that is ahead of us. And if you want to be part of a community that celebrates life, serves truth, empowers people to positively transform their lives, then you're home, and you found a home here at Unity Church of the Hills. We celebrate you here exactly as you are. So regardless of your previous spiritual experiences, regardless of race, gender, orientation, regardless of how Southern you talk, we're about inclusion, yes. We're about awakening, yes. And a community, and belonging and being the heart of ministry. Yes. So we begin. Whoops, lost my bead. All right, I'm going to put this over here, and if you'll just hold it. Just put your energy in this stole, and then we'll move it over there in just a minute. Reverend Sheree, as we behold you as Christ's love, we commit to be space holders for that, to know that in certainty as you grow, as you learn, and as you change, as you lead. Not only have you been ordained by Unity you've been ordained by God, by Spirit, through your call and your placement, and you're following that. I know this to be a life vocation for you. I happen to know it's your vocation and your advocation. I know and see that God expresses as you, and I know that you know that about us, that it's God expressing as us too. I know that your personal spiritual journey is one to serve others and to be in divine partnership and shared responsibility for ministry and collaboration.
Yes.
So please affirm your willingness to take on this mantle of ministry of Unity Church of the Hills by responding when I ask you these commitment statements. Thank you. You want to hold it, Jenny? Will you lovingly dedicate and consecrate yourself to the will and the work of the Christ Spirit?
Yes.
Doing this by embracing your position as senior minister and spiritual leader of Unity Church of the Hills.
I will.
Will you commit yourself to work with your board of directors, staff, licensed Unity teachers, all assigned roles, and the congregation at large to co-create a productive, harmonious, ever-expanding leadership team?
Yes, I will.
Will you support the board of directors, the Unity community members, staff, licensed Unity teachers, prayer chaplains, and everybody in an assigned role with your prayers,
I will.
encouragement, fellowship, and honest, loving responses to their words and actions?
I will.
Will you honor each and every member of this spiritual community by seeing the truth of the Christ light within them?
I will.
Will you commit to consciousness and conscious actions which support the spiritual, emotional, and financial well-being of this ministry?
I will.
This is her choice of stole. So with this stole and this placement, I officially install you as senior minister of Unity Church of the Hills, Austin, Texas. As we pass this mantle of truth to you, a mantle of truth, it is in joy. It also comes with a rededication and a redevotion, a recommitment of your sacred commitments and the holiness of love and what you stand for in ministry. And it's time now for us, so stay put, it's your turn now. So as in any organization, we can only do what we're here to do when all the parts work. So as we do these vows now, this is for your recommitment, dedication of the board of directors, the staff, licensed Unity teachers, prayer chaplains, anybody in appointed roles, aware that just like Reverend Sheree and other licensed professionals are under a code of ethics for ministry, so are licensed Unity teachers, so are prayer chaplains, so are boards of directors, and so are congregations under a code of ethics so that we're honoring that today and renewing that today as well. So I'll ask you the same questions. If you can then answer with I will or I do or what is meaningful for you. Knowing that this is a dynamic group of leaders we've acknowledged before, with the care, the organizational health foremost for them. Paid and unpaid hours and hours and hours of work and devotion, the highest levels of commitment, hearts of generosity, of giving of yourself over and over and over and over again in the name of ministry, to serve God and to serve humanity as divinity. So we thank you again. Will you lovingly dedicate and consecrate yourselves to the will and the work of the Christ through you? Will you support Reverend Sheree as the membership's choice first minister and spiritual leader of Unity Church of the Hills? Will you support Reverend Sheree and all the Unity community members with your prayers, encouragement, fellowship, and your honest, loving responses to their words and actions? Will you commit yourself to work with Reverend Sheree in building an empowered, expanding, and harmonious leadership team as you honor each and every member of this spiritual community? Will you commit to consciousness and conscious actions which support the spiritual, emotional, and financial well-being of this ministry? Thank you, and namaste. And this commitment doesn't stop here. So only with your commitment will this vision be possible, will this mission be possible. So I ask you then, devoted, divine beings, equally called and placed here in use of the divine, to make this same commitment. Please affirm your commitment with I will. Will you lovingly dedicate and consecrate yourself to the will and the work of the Christ Spirit through you? Will you support Reverend Sheree and the appointed leaders as the membership's choice of senior minister and spiritual leader of Unity Church of the Hills? Will you support your minister, your board, staff, and all appointed roles here through your prayers, encouragement, fellowship, and honest, respectful, loving responses to their words and actions? Will you commit yourself to work with the minister, the board, the staff, and the members of this community at large in co-creating a harmonious, empowered, expanding environment that honors each and every member of this spiritual community? Will you commit to consciousness and conscious actions which support the spiritual, emotional, and financial well-being of this ministry? Thank you. So together we pray, may we all know in all ways and in all ways the divine relationship. May we be inspired by the inner Christ spirit of love and truth, standing in the flow of what is, non-resistant to the changing tides of life, yet firm and solid in Christ consciousness in all that we do and say and believe. We give thanks for this day, this dedication. And in a moment, I'll ask you to come forward. You received 2 things today when you came in. If you would hold one in each hand. The little heart will go in the hand, any hand you want, and it's your rededication and devotion to yourself, to your own spirit, to your own well-being. The bead is your wishes, desires, commitments, devotion, your prayers, your energy, your encouragement for this ministry. So just pause and close your eyes a minute and put the energy of your heart, of your mind, of your faith, of your dreams, of your visions for the ministry and for yourself, part of this ministry, in these sacred stones. It will begin a silent ceremony, and the ushers will bring you out row by row, and you're invited to come forward and confer your blessing to Reverend Sheree, to the appointed leaders, to the ministry, to what is becoming, to the new beginnings in your bead, into this crystal vase here that will remain a symbol. It'll remain here in the ministry as a visual representation of this day and the blessings that you have made through your dedication and rededication to this. And then yours in your other hand is for you to take home, to keep in your pocket or on your altars, to remind you of this new beginning and your redevotion and your rededication to your own spiritual path. Can we have some music for our ceremony?
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Open the eyes of our heart. Open the eyes of our heart. We want to see, we see, we see, we see. No longer blind, we see. The next stones represent those of you watching online. Love is the answer here in the heart of Unity of the Hills in Austin, Texas. Thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for sending your energy this way as these beads go into this. Thank you for your contributions, your presence, and what you're doing out there in the world. We acknowledge you as a vital, vital, critical, delightful, joyful, divine part of this ministry. Thank you. Thank you for what you do from where you are. We thought the gala was tonight. All right, as we close this time, these are vows that we take as ministers through our codes of ethics. believing that you too are minister. Minister as a noun and minister as a verb. I'm going to invite you, if they're true for you to speak these out loud as we renew ours. I affirm my unity with God.
I affirm my unity with God.
I affirm my unity with myself.
I affirm my unity with myself.
I affirm my unity with all people.
I affirm my unity with all people.
I affirm my unity with unity.
I affirm my unity with unity.
I am.
I am.
God is.
God is.
I think that way.
I think that way.
I pray that way.
I pray that way.
And I live that way.
And I live that way.
So be it.
So be it.
So it is.
So it is.
Let it be so. Any words, honey?
Yeah. This was a really moving ritual and ceremony for me, and I can tell it was really moving for you as well. This is a practical community. This is not theory any longer. We are partners in this ministry to move mountains together. And I've said yes to that calling to be here to do that with you. And I'm grateful. Thank you.
Some of you may not have met Graham yet. As we were preparing for this, part of our prayers was to remember that God is first, then your own soul's evolution is second, then your husbands and spouses and wives and partners are third. It's like, who voted? So Graham understands his role. He's also before yours in this here. So her commitment to her marriage and to her spouse, like you have your commitment to your marriage and your spouse and your family, comes before any profession or any job. So I ask that you hold that in the highest regard as you go forth here to create and to move mountains too. And you've got and I can promise you, he is W-O-R-K. He is working behind the scenes in ways that may not ever be comprehended. So I'd say it's time to party. What do y'all say? Let us celebrate. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love and light, your powers, your activation today, your alignment, your remembering, your renewal today. I bow to you. I thank you. And my mission in ministry is to serve those who serve. So I consider it a sacred, divine privilege that I got to be here in service with you today. And I know who you are. I know what you are. And I know what you're here to be about. I send you with you, Godspeed. And if there's ever a way I can support you, get directly in touch with me, marthacreek.com.